Hi, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about my own fear and I guess fear in general. I was watching the news and, well, I don't want to go into politics, but it's said that a certain world leader, a certain potential world leader, were more likely than another potential world leader to be the potential world leader in the future. And I thought that what's gonna happen? And I felt fear. And fear is not a very constructive emotion, I think. Because what am I gonna do with it? The only thing that fear gives me really is a sense of dread and a sense of shit hitting the fan, you know? It also gives me sentiment to go out in the backyard and build a shelter for me and my family. And it also gives me a lot of rage, built up rage. I don't really know if anything constructive comes out of this feeling, except maybe for if I were to build a shelter, then of course it would be something constructive. I mean, it's a very constructive thing to dig a hole in the ground and place a drain pipe there and just crawl into it and live there with canned food for 25 years. And don't get me wrong, I'm very allured by the idea of taking cover, you know? This doesn't necessarily have to do with potential world leaders ruining the place. I mean, I would like to take shelter from all sorts of things. I mean, emotional distress as well. But what can I do with my fear other than build shelters? And most of all, because I don't build a shelter, you know, I sit on my ass back home and I worry and I become resentful and bitter, and I get headache and toothache and bad times to like you. I got my headache. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay. Here comes the people. Okay, so in a world where awful things keep happening, you know, I don't think awful things will ever stop happening. Mostly because awful things are subjective. I mean, some people think that what I think is awful is very good for the world, or for the human race in particular. So I don't think it will ever stop. It will go on and on and on and on. And that's a very depressing thing. But then again, I don't know anything else. I wouldn't know a good thing. I wouldn't know true, genuine happiness if it slapped me in the face, you know? Because I'm built for misery. And joy and misery and joy and misery. That's how I'm built. So I might as well, on one level, say yes to it. That's my conclusion to this. I must say yes, because what else can I do? There are stuff I can't change for the better from my perspective, from my point of view, but I can't ever change so many stuff that's out of my control, out of my reach. And I've come to the conclusion that I need to say okay to so many of the things that's inconvenient and awful for me in my life. So I have this thought model that I use for myself. I don't go out preaching this to other people, except for now, when I make a YouTube video out of it. Okay, so I have this feeling, this thought model in my mind that's constructed sort of like this. I've suddenly ended up in a room. This is only an image of a room, an analogy. So I'm in this room. And this room is not a very pleasant room. The ceiling is very low, or there are spikes coming out of the walls, or it's ugly, or maybe it changes, you know? Maybe it's moving or something else. There is no way for me to change the qualities of this room. I know that this room won't be here forever, because in this analogy, rooms are constantly changing. So I know that this room will change, and I don't know what it will change into. Maybe it'll change into something worse even, or something better. That's something I can just fantasize about, project into the future. But I don't know, and I can never know because of life, because of the nature of time. We can't see the future. So I need to just rely on the fact that the room I'm in right now will change. And with that in mind, I need to accept the room as it is. It's easier when you use the image of a room, because a room, unless you're a superhero of some kind, you can't really change the nature of a house or a building or a structure that you're in. And the same goes with so many facts of life. If you're ill and the illness is incurable, you can't really change it. It's there, If some sort of world leader would become a world leader of sorts, then there's only a limited number of things I can do to change that, at least in the immediate term. So I will have to accept the room. I will have to stay in the room for as long as the room is there and try to find my own center. And this is difficult. I'm not gonna say I ace this, because I don't. I'm a freaking wind when it comes to emotion. But I just wanted to share this with you. And I know this is not my concept. I guess this is a very established way of thinking if you want to tackle the world and your own emotion. But what do you do to deal with fear and worry about the future? Please comment, and thank you for being here. Okay, bye.